Okay, now let's go over the assignment you did for the review assignment for CSS and HTML. Whenever you open the file, this is what we started with. Now you are to take that file and make it look like this one. Now again, your layout for the bottom three pieces may not have the exact same layout, depending upon if you put a margin between the grades 6 through 12 and the Count on Us, plus what type of border you put. I put an outset on here. Okay, so let's look like we need to do in order to get the information to where we get the background colors, how we separate out the two asides, and also work on the bullet lists. Okay, so here we go. Now when you look at the start of the spreadsheet, again, you're not going to see really any styles within this. This is all basically HTML. You are going to add a couple of IDs depending upon how you get the asides to work. So let's look at this again. Okay. If you use an external, make sure that you link to the style sheet. Now as we go down through here, again, we have the grades 6 through 12 in an aside that we want to be able to make so that it's left aligned. We want all this information below to come up to the right side of it. Now remember, in order to do that, we must be able to float a unique identifier that blocks the area. Now notice that I have an aside for the grades, but also we need to do the college level. Now on its aside, we have to be able to have something like an ID or a class. Probably an ID because it only needs to be applied once. If we work on the aside, let's go to our CSS. Notice that on the aside to begin with, we float it left. If we applied it to both asides, then they both would float left and we'd wind up with the boxes side by side. Now on this we have a width of 300 pixels. The margin right, we added padding. We made the color yellow for the text. We had a border style. I chose the inset. You may choose a different one. The width, I made 10 pixels. Again, you may choose a different one. Same on the border color. Now, since all three of these were applied to a border, we could have done them inside a shortcut by just saying border colon 10 pixel inset gray. Now, that's what we'll take this information and put it on the left. Since we floated it left, that allowed this Count on Us 4 with these bullets to come up to the middle. Now again, if I had just applied to the aside for the college level, it would have wound up right beside the grades. Now let's look at the college level. The college level, I applied a particular ID because I only want it to float right, not both asides. So I made it float right and I made the margin again 50 pixels. Anything applied to the aside will go on both. To the college will only go on where the ID is the college. So that's why we have a float left, a float right. All of this will go to both asides. All of this will only go to the college. That's why when we look again, I put the ID equals college so that this entire area here will look like this on the right hand side. That will make what is below again come up to the center. Now let's look at the bullet lists. On the bullet lists, again, we want it to apply only to the bullets inside the aside, not outside. So that's why I have to do aside space LI. And I make the list style image the URL bullet JPG that I gave you to start with. That's what makes, again, these bullets look different than these bullets. One last item before we go into the print. I did put a final section in there, ID, that would make the margin left go 450 pixels. Now again, that applies to this area here. If I change the margin to, let's say, 250 pixels, it'll just scoot this amount over here. Notice it scoots it over. Now, be careful, because all of these bullets we do not want to go inside. That's why I put the margin, so there'd be a place between this box and border and the bullet list. The margin does that for you. Remember, paddings on the inside, margins on the outside. Now, the last step is whenever we print preview, takes a little while to come up, we only want to print the count on us and the information here. We do not want to print either one of the asides. In order to do that, we have to use the media to say, at media, what media do I want to work with? Well, only the print. So from here, I can say, I want the aside to display none. Whenever I bring in the print, it will affect this media only. And of course, on our body, we did a background color of whatever color you wanted. Now, I do want to mention that if you wanted this media to have its own CSS, up inside of the heading area, I could have told it that what I'm working with on this style sheet might have been called print CSS. And there I could have said the media is equal to print. That way, only the print would have got what was in their CSS. Didn't take much time to get this done. You just had to be very precise, and you could have accomplished this any way you wanted as far as you're using IDs or classes. That's it.